And we are live. It's your boy GNL Zamba.
Miriam Tamar.
And together we are...
Nsimbi.
Wachimanyi. So, it's another beautiful day. Another day to have a good cup of tea and have a conversation.
Yes, a good day for some peppermint tea.
One of the things that I like about these teas is that they always have a message at the back.
Yeah, let's read our messages.
So
wait, we have to credit the tea.
You want to go first?
Wait, what's the company for this?
Unless they're giving us...
you know what? It's not even the tea company. This is a Vincent van Gogh quote.
Okay, so, let's go.
If you truly love nature, you will find beauty everywhere.
If you truly love nature, you'll find beauty everywhere.
Except maybe on the highway, I don't know.
Beauty on
or
the
like
highway?
In a tunnel, because there's no nature.
There are tunnels which are natural.
But I'm talking about an unnatural one. Anyways, the point is...
I find some tunnels are
really...
I think some tunnels are really beautiful.
The point is just look
I
around.
have a question for you. Do you hold your breath when you're going through tunnels? Because there's this thing that...
Yeah,
if you hold your breath, your wish comes through.
Yeah, you have a lot of superstitions. You're just telling... You asked me the other day, we're walking, you're like, do you step on a crack? I was like, do you jump over a crack?
Step on a crack, like kick
jump
ass?
over cracks. And I was like, yeah, I haven't jumped over a crack since I was like 6. And then you just... What was the other superstition?
Me. I wasn't saying it's me. It's the thing which kids do.
And then there was another thing you just said the other day. I can't remember now that you're... Oh, about eating a chicken heart? You said... Yeah.
You become a coward.
You become a coward. Like, yeah. You always have some good gems that... some superstitious.
My mom also had some...
what's your quote?
Some superstitious. There was a part of a fish, the inside of the
your
part
mom
of a
is
fish.
very superstitious, I think.
And as she said, I think it's called the same power. It's something which ends with impa. And then she told me, don't ever eat this part. I'm like, why wouldn't I eat it? She's like, because if you eat it, you become a thief. It will always say impa.
Wow.
Like she's always begging
give me
to steal shit. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Superstition. Stevie Wonder has a song about this.
Yeah, I was like,
superstition. What's the meaning of this? What's the meaning? What's the meaning of the song?
I feel like it's one of those songs you like sing along to, but you haven't even thought of what is superstitious writing on the wall. I don't know.
Maybe it's superstitious. So my quote reads, my tea bag, it says, Earth laughs in flowers.
Wait, what?
Earth laughs in flowers.
Like by every time you see a flower. Who's the quote?
The quote is by Ralph Waldo
Emerson, who's actually an amazing writer and poet from Massachusetts. Concord, Massachusetts.
Boston has a writer, finally.
Earth laughs in flowers.
That's a very nice one.
Yeah.
Every time you see a flower, and some people are flowers. We have a song, actually.
Flower of the Heart.
Flower of the Heart. And in that, this is no lie. Go down, listen to our song called Flower of the Heart. In it, we are describing people as flowers. So if his quote is saying, Earth laughs in flowers, we are way ahead of our curve. I mean, like...
Or we're way behind because Emerson was already on it.
No, he was... Miriam, like, you know how this works. Like, if a person writes it in the past, what did Einstein say about time? Time is a curve.
All one time? I don't know.
Time is a curve.
There is no time.
He might be in the future.
There's no time like this time.
Yeah.
That's not his quote.
But his concept was that you could be living your present life, your future, and your past all at once.
Yeah, I think we totally subscribe to that.
We subscribe to that. It's one of our
favorite theories.
She's a very old soul. I'm a very old soul. We've been through several dimensions.
Yeah.
You've dated other people through in other time worlds and dimensions, right?
I don't even know. What do you mean?
Like come on. She missed a joke. I was trying to go off on if you've lived several lives and through other dimensions, were you dating other people?
Yeah, well, duh.
But do you know what?
Like, you probably had children or animal offspring. Like, who knows what kind of... I don't know if I was a human or if I was a different... I don't know how that works.
I don't remember having children in my past lives.
I would love to meet someone who specializes in helping one awaken their past lives. I think that would be a really cool experience.
I think the most...
I don't know what that
the most boring past life experience someone has ever described to me was he was a tree.
Oh yeah, you.
He was a
yeah,
tree.
that sounded horrible.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I would
People
not
are
want to be a
peeing
tree.
on you. Like, no. Yeah, no.
So,
yeah.
anyways,
there's a lot to talk
I'm
about here.
Miriam Tamar.
And I'm GNL Zamba. Together we are.
We're in Nsimbi. And
Nsimbi.
I actually think this was the second time we introduced ourselves.
Oh, we
One
have?
was the past and this is the
And this is
present.
the
So, and
present,
we'll
yeah.
probably do it in
So,
the future.
Welcome to the present. Welcome to the present.
Yeah. What's on your mind today? I'm just thinking.
From the way we started the conversation, we could have gone like several different ways. Matrix is one of my favorite films, and it's coming out.
I actually
with
need
the
to
third
watch
one.
it again. I would
Oh
like
my
to watch
God.
all of it because it's been years since I've seen it, and I know I love so many things from it.
Yeah.
But I feel like my mind has really matured since I watched it. How old is the original Matrix? Like
2000, I think?
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
But anyways, like
Yeah.
a good 15, 20 years. So yeah, definitely I feel like I was a teenager or a kid
Yeah.
and couldn't pick up like a lot of the deep meanings that I could probably appreciate now. So I would like to do a Matrix movie marathon.
Yeah.
Look
So
it
the
up.
first one was in 1999.
What?
And it was by the Wachowski brothers.
Wow.
So one of the reasons I
didn't realize it was
one
that
of the
far
reasons I love the Matrix is everything we're seeing in the world that's coming true now, they kind of predicted it.
Well,
This
that's
going into the
okay.
metaverse,
That's also
you
like,
know.
but have you watched all the Back to the Futures? I feel like that's another one on the list. We need to add
No,
to the
no,
list.
no,
You
I
haven't
haven't
watched
watched those,
because
yeah.
Back to the Future also predicted a lot of things related to technology. So yeah, there's a lot of different films that like.
But did they predict a metaverse though?
No, I mean
So-
actually I don't know.
So
I don't
here's the
remember.
thing. What
the
makes the
detail, but I
Matrix
know.
special, right, is it combines so many concepts and brings them to like most of the conversations people who talk about spirituality, you talk about power, you talk about the significance of color, the way
It's
the
all
Egyptians,
there.
all of that is there.
Okay, so we need to rewatch.
Choosing
Like,
your reality and
I'd like to
fantasy.
watch
It's
it,
a
like, in the
beautiful
next
movie
couple
for
days.
intelligent people. If you're not intelligent, you're not going to like it. You're not going to like The Matrix. So they made one. One was the best. 2 was good. 3 was better.
wait, there's already a 3.
There's 3. Now they're making the 4th. I'm like, what you going to be talking
Okay,
about
now
in the
I don't
4th?
even know. Did I not? I don't know. Now I have to watch all of them because I don't know what I've seen. I know I've seen 1 and 2, but this
Yeah.
is. Anyways.
Yeah.
In the Matrix.
Yeah.
Out of the Matrix.
In the Matrix, out of the Matrix, like all these concepts of time being a construct. So the reason why I'm bringing up the Matrix is because you said we introduced ourselves and are introducing ourselves again.
Mm-hmm.
So in the Matrix, there's this time when Neo is jumping from the from Zion, which was the real world, which was crumbling, and people were preferring to be plugged into a machine that gave them like a virtual life.
Okay.
To use the metaverse, they were living in the metaverse,
Right.
which is the Matrix.
Because the
Because
real
the
universe
real
was
universe was
destroyed.
sucked. And there was a machine that was controlling that whole world, and all people were programs.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
even
yeah.
the evil people were programs, which is basically life if you look at society.
Yes.
People are programs, others are militarized to watch over others and
Yeah.
like exploit
Well,
them. Somebody designs that world, somebody takes care
Yeah.
of that
So
world.
this reminds
Yeah.
me,
But,
like,
let me finish. Let me finish the point.
Finish.
So there's this point where he jumps from the real world into the Matrix world, and he sees a cat.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, he's walking and he sees the same cat again, and the image has reset. So it's like, that's strange. It's like there's a black cat. It's not a black cat, and then I saw it again. Then what was her name? Trinity, who was his the female partner, was like, oh my God, they know we are here. So they prepared for war because that's the way the world that was designed in the Matrix, that's the way that they know. Whenever they discover that there are intruders, it's kind of that their firewall. They change
they do
the
a
settings.
reset.
They do a reset. So that was the
Okay.
reset. Same thing with life and deja vu and all these other concepts we
I
always
mean,
hear
I'll
about.
be honest.
It's a reset.
If
of
you're in a
the
metaverse,
spiritual world
that's-
that you experience.
but if you're in a
the physical.
metaverse that's
Yeah.
not even real, why do you need to do a reset? Because nothing's real, so it shouldn't matter, and you should be able to just like change things whenever. I don't know.
No, think about it this way. You have a computer. And then your computer gets a virus.
Yeah.
It's your computer still. You have to take care of the virus in the computer system.
Or you can ride the virus and see what that experience is like.
But
And
have you used a computer affected by a virus? It doesn't function.
Well, who's to say what's a virus and what's a...
Again, that's what the Matrix used to do, because in the Matrix, they were considered as the viruses, because in this world that was designed by the architect. So it's according to the design that the architect...
Yeah, okay. So whoever the designer wants... If they decide that's not how they want it to work. Yes. Okay. But I was thinking that was making me draw a connection to... again, like this idea of the metaverse, which is also like, there are people who think we all live in a simulation. And I think that's that could very well be. I don't know.
We might be in a simulation.
But I also know from a lot of therapy I've done, work, and both my parents are in mental health as well.
Yeah.
So this whole thing about projecting one's feelings or ideas. So that projection is where, so say I have a conversation with G and you say something and I think what he said means he is mad at me or he's judging me. Yeah. But he didn't say that. He didn't say I'm mad at you. So then you don't know, is he mad at me or do I think he's mad at me?
So it creates another reality.
Yeah, so there's like an alternate reality, there's an alternate reality to everyone and every interaction you have, because you don't know what anyone else is thinking. We imagine, like, maybe you have an experience with someone, you think, oh, like they don't like me or they're judging me or whatever. Like this applies all the time, but it's like, no, that's you assuming. That's your projection. A lot of times it's like our weaknesses or the things we judge ourselves about, we keep thinking, we catch in other people, like he thinks I'm snobby. She thinks like, they think I'm too quiet or they don't think I'm funny. Like anything you fear about yourself.
Which is one of the reasons why people say if people who are cheaters always accuse people of cheating.
So that's called projecting.
Yeah.
But then I was also thinking about, again, another thing that's like in terms of mental health and well-being, and just like as you grow up and you're trying to figure out like what's your life path, we get caught up day to day in so much bullshit. And I know, like, whenever I see you stressing out, I try, like, it's hard to catch yourself. It's easier to catch someone else. I think it's a good tool to, like, help someone else who's struggling and be like, nothing matters. Your experience is like, you're in control of your experience. Like, you only have to figure out what makes you happy and the things you want to do and the experiences you want to have.
Yeah.
Because worrying about other people and things that you don't know exist is a waste of time. And again, like this idea, you can really think of it like it's a simulation. So how do you want your simulation to play out?
You often have to catch yourself and remind yourself of the stresses. But I don't get how you're saying that. You're saying that's how you correct your simulation to put it on the right path? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that if it's all a simulation because maybe that's too far out for people. If it's not a simulation, but if it's all projections, we're always...
Oh, I see what you're saying.
A projection is, again, it's this alternate world that we can never know.
Which is not really real.
It's not real.
Yeah, you're making it up in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, here's the thing though. Here's the kicker. Because you're thinking that these things happen all in your head, right? And that's where it stops. But in mathematics, there's a name for it, probabilities, right?
Okay.
Probabilities and choices. In the matrix as well, there are probabilities and choices.
Okay.
Now, different from the matrix had the red or green pill. Red or blue pill, I know.
I'm like, these are all like...
Red or blue pill, actually.
Vague memories.
So for them it was a choice. Do you want the reality or do you want the fantasy? Now, deal away with that, right? And in the spiritual world, these choices actually manifest because it becomes the energy that you give off. Or it becomes you living. So everything you do is a choice, right?
Right.
And you choose a path.
Yes.
But in our conscious world, the world which we live in right now where I can touch you, when you make a choice, you think that the other choice died. But in the spiritual world, sometimes it's a way that in the spiritual world, the other person lives that life that you've created.
Okay.
Do you get
Sure.
the choice you ignore takes on life as
Someone
well.
else's. Okay.
Life as well. So it becomes an astral body of the choices that you didn't take. So imagine
Is this all Matrix
no, this
ideology?
is not Matrix. I told you
other...
dump the Matrix, the Matrix theory.
It's like,
So in the Matrix you have choices. In the Matrix you have choices, and it's something which Zuckerberg is now giving to people. That in a metaverse you can choose what to wear. You can be a doctor today. You can be a footballer tomorrow. You can be an actor. The Matrix had a little bit of that as well, because the Judas in that, the Judas in the movie said, "Make me come back as somebody important, an actor or something." Like they could design what he wanted and give it to him, even if it wasn't real. But in the spiritual world or in the science world, these choices, our conscious brain thinks they die, but they could create other energies. So I'm losing my train of thought here, but I'm just saying
giving me a thought
that whenever you create a choice, you lose. There's a world of probabilities. You make a choice, but all of the other choices live on. You get me? So there might be a Miriam who did not study peace and justice studies, became an engineer.
Yes.
Now is living in another world as a rocket scientist.
I totally dig the
things like
theory.
that.
I dig the theory, and I think it's totally possible. But when I think about my day-to-day experience, it doesn't change how I'm experiencing my life and my journey that I get to be on.
So in the spiritual world, again, we're going to come back to reality. But this always amazes me, because it's kind of science meets spiritual, and then meets mathematics, meets physics, and all of these other things, because you're dealing with forces, you're dealing with energy. The scientists always never want to agree with the world which is spiritual, but then they agree that there are forces that you can't see.
Right.
We all have energies and forces that you can't see. So when intuition comes, right? And you're like, I think that person doesn't like me.
Right.
You're saying it to yourself. It's probably not true. There's a probability that it's not true, but there's also a reason why you think their energy is off towards you. You get me?
Yes.
So
where are you saying this energy comes from?
Usually they're giving off an energy that does not mix with your energy, and your body, which is your astral body, feels it even if your physical body is still doubting. That's intuition. That's your gut feeling. It's never like there's a feeling in there. It's like it's like this thing that you can't see, but you just like you know something is off. You know something is wrong.
Okay.
That's
a valid.
The last accident we had, leaving that pier in Malindi, in Watamu.
We had an accident.
The border accident we had.
Oh.
So we had this hotel. Meeting some friends. A very beautiful sunset. The food is amazing. The music is amazing. The people are amazing. And we said, why should we get a car when we can? It's that
it's
right
so
there.
close.
Probably we are going to even enjoy the ride.
Take the boda, which is a motorcycle.
When was the last time you owned a boda? We're like, let's just get on a boda and get there. Now, you have had friends who have tragically passed away from bodas.
Yes.
I have had, every time I'm in Kampala driving, I see about 3 or 4 boda.
We see accidents all over the place.
So, for some reason, my mind was telling me, do not get on a boda today. First of all, you're drunk. But I was like, I'm not that drunk. I'm convincing myself.
And my mind was, this is the beach. There's no cars. This is stop being scared.
Plus, we're not dealing with the energy of being in Kampala and your celebrity. Basically, we're just being free.
Yeah.
So, in my judgment, my mind is telling me, I feel something is off today. And I was like, nah, that's probably the alcohol speaking. And you are also telling me, just get on the boda. The home is just 5.
Yeah.
The hotel is just 5 minutes away. But something was telling me something was
you
off.
were telling me that because I think I called the guy and he was like, where are you? You were like something about that he wasn't picking us where he had dropped us or something.
Yes,
and you were
yes.
why?
I'm like, something is off. I kept
What's
on
up
feeling
with him
it.
that he's confused.
And when we got on the boda, we had an accident.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? So it was like there was something inside of me telling me, except that if I had told it to you, it would have been just, I voiced it, but you dismissed it and I was like, I was it and I was like, something is off. I'm feeling like something
You
is going to
always
happen
say my
today.
radar for danger is like
It's
totally
always off.
So
Yes,
my
yes,
ability
yes,
to
yes.
connect with my
Your radar for danger is often
but what are you
off.
calling these other
Your other world?
my other I'm not
your
connected.
astral body?
My astral body is totally disconnected.
Actually, your astral bodies and your instincts.
So
Yeah.
but then the question is what's astral body, what's instinct, and what's projection? Like
What's
and
projection
these all are
and what's
like,
madness?
yeah.
Yeah. We
But
don't
then
know.
I still want to come back to,
Yeah.
because you said something about choosing reality or fantasy. And I also like constantly think about that. I don't think there is no reality because everything is subjective.
Very.
So my reality is different than your reality is different than like we're all having our own experiences.
Yeah.
So then that's where I get again to this, back to this thing of like, no one sees things from the same lens, the same eyeball, the same brain processing. So again, just like live your life, because all the other noise is like
It's
stuff
background noise.
it's background noise that you're never going to understand.
And does it really matter that someone
No,
doesn't
but
like
most of us live in that whole, that's like the entire existence of what do other people think, what are other people saying.
Actually, it matters that some people, it doesn't matter if everybody likes you, because we also fall victim to wanting to be liked by everybody. And true freedom is you don't care if they like you or don't like you. But sometimes who likes you and who doesn't like you also matters. Because if it's your parents who don't like you, people are always cut deep by that wound, and
it's painful.
It haunts them until they're old people.
Professionally, to be able to advance, you need your colleagues or your boss to like you.
Yeah.
But in what kind? I don't know.
There's a point I want to make before I lose it. I think I read it somewhere where they said, we often make a mistake in thinking that other people understand things the way we do.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
I used to, as a younger man, I always used to get into debates, right? And try to make people see my side of the story or tell them why I'm making a choice.
You still
as a
do
younger
try
man,
to
as
like
a young
argue.
man.
You'll argue to death something, but someone who sees it differently. Some people can shift like.
Yeah.
Some of us are more aligned in our thinking, but people who just have a totally different viewpoint, again, a subjective way of seeing things, it's like you can't convince someone out of their reality.
Yes. Exactly. Again, it's everybody's reality. It's their train of thought. It's their
based on their experiences, the experiences they've had,
how they understand. Yes,
the experiences their parents have had that they've then projected whatever feelings onto them for so many years. That then it's like.
That's why it's
we're in a maze of projections.
Definitely. So what's I like how you describe it, maze of projections. So we are in a world where everybody is projecting.
Yes.
We are in a world where everybody is protecting themselves against other people's projections, and other people feel the need to defend themselves. And sometimes when they defend themselves, it even looks worse because people don't. The lie is often more entertaining than the truth. They say the lie goes around the world twice as the truth is still putting on its boots. And it's very true.
Yeah.
And when the lie is also more entertaining than the truth, people will always believe the lie. So you find that these patterns form themselves. The stereotypes also form themselves. And before you know it, there's conflict. And in projecting that other people don't like us, right, you also begin cutting yourself off from people. So you become people live more lonely lives of projecting.
You also avoid communication and conflict. Like I know there's so many times I've projected so and so like is mad at me because I canceled my plans, or I canceled the car, or now they think this, and it's like you don't
allow me make the point because I'm going to lose it.
But let me finish mine.
Through all of this projection.
Let me finish mine. You don't ever know what anyone's thinking unless they literally tell you to your face, and you say, "Are you mad? Were you upset?"
Yeah. You've made my point for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I was going to say. We make so many of these assumptions, and when you finally meet people, they're like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but you've dealt with. I've been through this
most of the time. Of the time, whatever I thought someone was feeling is wrong.
Usually the most important thing is to have a conversation
Yeah.
with the
But
person
it's like,
who you think.
but here's the thing that drives me nuts.
Yeah.
It's like, I can have that experience so many times where I have like something blown out of proportion in my mind. I'm really,
Yeah.
I get all anxious. Like I don't like, oh, this person's gonna, if I tell them how I'm feeling, they're gonna get mad at me and not want to be my friend, or they're gonna get me mad and quit our company or whatever.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I talk to them and it's like not a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's like I can have that. That's what usually happens. So even though I have the experience of it not being,
Yes.
of it going well so many times, each time I still get in my head.
I'll give you another example. So there's a radio station in Kampala.
Mm-hmm.
And coming up as a rapper, this radio station was really instrumental in my blowing up. So for some reason, I have always had a problem with payola. That if I found somebody in my team who was doing payola, I had a problem with it because for some reason it kind of made me feel as if my music was not good enough that you had to pay to play it.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever people from that radio station asked me for money, if we were in a social setting and it was just about, I have a problem, I would give the money. But if the money was in exchange for playing my song, I felt some type of way like my art is no longer good enough that you need to ask me for money in order to play it.
Yeah.
So we fell apart with so many people. We fell apart to the extent that I wasn't even hearing my music on that radio station anymore. And I think a year or two go by and I blacklist the radio station. I no longer go there. I no longer talk to those people. They're phony. They're fake.
They don't support me. They don't believe in what I'm doing.
And it becomes this thing of, even when they call you, you're like, but yesterday I saw him talking to so and so and so and so doesn't like me. So I projected a lot to the extent that it was until I was booked for show and I had to personally come and sign the money from the CEO who we all respected. He was like a mentor of some sort.
Okay.
So it was until I had to meet this man face to face that I realized how delusional I was for all that time. So he comes up to me and no. When I get out of my car, there's a kid who is like always rush up to the car and then try to wash it and not try to give him something. This kid was so happy, was flashing like the biggest smile. And he was like, gee, where have you been? That kind of attitude.
Yeah.
When I walked through the gate man was telling me of how much he was missing me.
Mm-hmm.
In the radio station, when they got to know that was in the building, because these are like sister stations, they share the same gate. People who know Kampala already know what I'm talking about. They're sister stations.
Yeah.
So when I go through the gate and I just walk straight to the CEO's building. But the moment I come out, all the presenters are asking me, gee, what the hell? Why are you ghosting everybody? And I begin telling them, well, honestly speaking, you guys became this, you became that, I was letting them have it. They're like, dude, you're the most played artist on this station. And like, do you want to see the log for the last how many years?
So what made you think you weren't being played?
Again, I was in my own world, lost in my own thought, thinking that I was being hated on because one person from that radio station was actually didn't like me. So I projected on the whole radio station that something was off. So in my world, when you begin looking and examining your own bullshit and your projections and how how far you can go in the wrong direction, there's a quote I usually use that assumption is the mother of all fuck-ups, and it's true. So in my world, when I blew up, radio was the least thing I was listening to. So how would I have known that I wasn't being played? I usually listen to music on platforms or buy CDs, and I play my favorite music in the car.
Now there's tools. Now there's more tools that monitor, so you can. It's like it's
now
a fact.
There's
It is or it
isn't.
Monitor.
But they showed me the whole log of the music that they had been playing all through the years, and I was the most played artist, but had gone on far so wrong in that direction that I boycotted their shows. I never went to places where they used to be. Yeah, it shows you how I felt like. It's important to share some of these personal stories because other people can relate. So anytime you're having a situation where you think somebody doesn't like you, you'd rather have them confirm it in your face.
Yeah, you're actually creating more stress for yourself.
Yeah.
And something that could have been solved. This became months and years when it could have been actually solved with one quick conversation.
Exactly. Because
we all have such a fear of rejection. That's what it comes down to.
And I'm also very bad with communication, actually. With I usually ghost people instead of talking to them.
Yeah.
Like,
I know. I'm always like, why haven't you called? Why don't you just have a conversation? Just like, it's the same.
But again, sometimes, to bring it back and play devil's advocate here, sometimes those situations are right, and they could even smile in your face and say it's not true.
Okay.
While you're being gaslighted.
That's true. Yes, for sure. But also,
they hate your guts. Yeah.
But then also the worst case scenario. Okay, I think that's the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And then the worst case scenario that we worry about is that you're going to be rejected.
Yeah.
But that's what you're already believing. So it's like the fear of confirming the rejection, even though you already feel rejected. So it's like, what's the struggle?
Well, it's the importance of having therapists, psychologists to help people through all of this and process all the nonsense and give people different angles of looking at things.
Yeah.
Because when you talk to a therapist, they only ask you questions like, why do you think that? And then you go on and then even sometimes midway your elaboration, you realize how trivial or how stupid it is. Or sometimes they even tell you.
I wouldn't say that things are trivial. I would say that you realize when you realize why you're thinking something, it's coming from a personal insecurity or fear.
Yeah.
Again, this projection thing. So I think when you think through things, you can often figure out whatever you were worried about is you, like, I don't know.
No. Some people actually think about that. That could be true. You deal longer with the problem, you learn how to solve it.
Yeah.
It works with art as well. The longer I stay with art, the better it becomes.
Mm-hmm.
Even with scientists, they solve problems after trying to solve the same thing over and over again. But sometimes we're all not created the same. Sometimes you go down a rabbit hole and create more, you dig deeper or create more mazes of confusion. And for some people, that's where the craziness comes in. That's where you become mental, because you begin creating either your escape and you live in a fantasy world where you disconnect from reality totally. And then for some people, it becomes this thing where it becomes a pattern, or they're afraid of other people because of what they might do to them if their fears are attached to something that happened to them in the past.
Yeah.
So these thoughts sometimes they're you're saying something.
I think so. Those two examples. The second one where you're saying people because then that's talking about people who end up avoiding people or feeling isolated. Mm-hmm. That's a problem. I don't actually have a problem with people who live in fantasy world bubbles. If it makes them happy.
Babe, are you kidding me? You mean people who are like in psychiatric wards and they're looking at
stars, if you're hurting yourself, yourself or anyone else.
You're having imaginary friends. As a child, it's okay to have imaginary friends, but imagine an adult talking to 12 people.
If it means you can't clothe, feed yourself, house yourself, if that happens, I see that's a problem.
Those are all thoughts and projections. So it goes deeper.
But I'm saying what's the problem with these are all societal judgments that those ways to live are like, if you want to talk to other voices, but you still have, maybe you're an artist and you create and you can still feed yourself. Like, I don't know. I just don't, this is reminding me of like,
Miriam, when has ever listening to the little voice in your head been a good thing?
I don't know. There's so many different voices.
I know. Yeah.
But this is making me think.
But you're encouraging people to listen to the little voices.
I'm encouraging people to just no one should tell you how to live. If you're not hurting anyone and you're not hurting yourself, go for it.
No, if it's working for you and you're not hurting anyone, you're hurting yourself. Yeah, I agree with that.
But what I'm trying to say is I know when I first moved to Uganda, and then years started going by, and especially when I moved into the music industry, a lot of friends and family, people close to me, were like, you're living in this fantasy world. You need to move back to the US. Eventually you need to come back. You need to come back to real life.
Yeah, but that's different. That's totally different.
It's not.
Because that's them
projecting
and again
on
putting
what
their
is
reality on you.
right. But that's
it's their fears.
But this is what I'm saying. That
Yeah.
society. So in society, the idea of going and living abroad or choosing this life in a totally different continent is like a
Yeah.
fantasy world. Like that's not how you're supposed to do it. But the thing is, like I even have to often be like, wait, what am I doing? Should I go back? But it's like, no, I'm pursuing bliss. I'm pursuing whatever makes me happy, makes me
Yeah.
feel fulfilled.
It's the same way. Even if you moved to Uganda from Boston,
Mm-hmm.
right? For some people, it's just moving out of the house.
Yeah, sure.
And they're like, oh, you don't know what's in whatever. The world is cruel.
Yeah.
Those are parents.
Yeah.
That's what they do. They
Yeah.
worry. For some people, it's moving to California and pursuing their dream of becoming an actor or
for 20, 30, 40 years. And it may happen. It may never happen.
But they're happy
Yeah,
while they're on that journey.
if
Yeah.
some people aren't, but if they are, then
Who are you to
why are we
judge?
judging? Yeah,
Exactly,
we all
exactly.
do it. We all judge, but it's just like it's I find myself more and more when I like come across people that are really into gossiping, like being really not interested, because I honestly like I start tuning out, and there's like certain people that come around that I know that it's like that's what they want to do, and it's like so boring to me because
Like people who
cares?
just want to gossip.
yeah, I don't care what other like again, none of these random people
You are
has
a
nothing.
very rare woman. You know that. Most women love to gossip.
But you know I don't like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
not my
I know,
thing.
I know,
And it
I know, I
actually agitates me because I'm like, why do I care what so and so is doing, what they did? Like I'd rather focus on what do I want to do? How am I having fun? Who are the relationships I enjoy?
yeah.
Who do I want to spend time with? What activities
That's why
do
I keep
I
on
like?
saying that you're a very old soul, because an old soul is almost content.
Well, there might be old
is
souls
almost
that
content with-
gossip. I don't know, but like I just
Yeah.
again, that's like the noise.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't care. It doesn't affect me. I want to know if someone I care about is having a struggle or something, but I think gossip is I don't think that I consider gossip a different category than like.
Do we gossip? Playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, we do
gossip?
from time to time.
Couples
and-
gossip, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like when I notice it, like it becomes so stupid. Or like I hear people like that's the whole celebrity gossip culture of. I can say it more in Uganda, a lot of the people are friends, so it's a little different than like in the US where it's like this like tabloid culture of like, why are you keeping up with whatever celebrity? Why do you care what their kid is wearing or what they're like it?
Yeah.
Some people are entertained by it. Some people like, but then I'm like, these are just taking you out of your reality, and your reality should be your experience, and everything should be focused on making that the best, having the best journey while you're on this planet. While you're in this dimension.
Well, there is also that misconception. Sometimes some celebrities are shitty. Excuse my language. Some celebrities don't have the depth of content. But then who am I to judge? Some girls need to know how to apply their makeup. Mm-hmm. So Kim Kardashian becomes a role model. You get me? And some people would love to learn how to market. So somebody else who has been marketing something. So this gossip shows, according to the... Gossip has its purpose, but it's also very detrimental in the people who are being gossiped about negatively. But if you're being gossiped about in a positive light, it helps you sell more.
But if I want to learn how to do my makeup,
Yeah.
and fine, so then go watch a Kim Kardashian tutorial or someone
Yes,
else on YouTube.
yes.
But like, do you need the other gossip about the person? Like, how does that make your life better?
I see what you're saying.
I mean, I think there are people who genuinely just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like it's an activity.
Yeah, some people
it's
do.
a hobby.
Gossip magazines make a lot of money.
But I'm
Tabloids
just
make a lot of
saying,
money.
I don't even know how we got there.
But in all of this,
I'm just thinking of things that I find distracting.
In all of this, how we got there was talking about how people project positivity, project negativity, project all of these things, and are judgmental about what other people draw pleasure from,
lifestyle choices.
Even the idea of gossip itself sometimes comes out of judgment. You're attaching gossip to judgment.
Yes.
And most of the gossip is negative, right?
I'm not just attaching it to judgment, because to me it's
because
I don't
you talk about what
I'm not
somebody
saying,
else is struggling with also. And so did you see the dress?
Yeah,
They're talking about the other
it
person
is
struggling
usually
with
critical.
having bad style, or the other person's lost a job. That's gossip, because now you're talking about the other person's struggle with being unemployed. So usually gossip is negative. And when this person who is being gossiped about or assumes is being gossiped about, he's projecting and assuming what they're saying about him. And sometimes somebody with a slippery mouth comes and whispers and confirms their fears. You get me? So it becomes, again, friction. You begin projecting even more. You know,
but I also think the more you're caught up in those things, then the more it's harder to separate the projections and the judgments and the fantasy. or like separate again that those things don't matter.
Reality, fantasy, and the projection.
That
negative.
Outside judgments don't matter. Like you start like.
But then here let me stop you right there, Miaz. Here, because it might seem to our listeners that we're not going to get to the point. The larger point we're trying to get to right here is, you always tell me to listen to old wisdom, and I also love old wisdom a lot.
Yeah.
So there are very simple things which are planted as seeds whose fruit we should pick off of. You get me? And let it help you live a more fulfilled life, basically. They say, don't listen to gossip. Don't entertain gossip.
Yes.
Like when somebody begins gossiping, you get away and do something else. Because if you get trapped into that, you're going to live a life. If you live a gossiper's life, you're also going to be gossiped about. But if you cut all of that out of your circle, you have less things to think about, and you live a more happier life.
Yeah, and that's the same.
And I think all of us here are out here chasing happiness,
trying to be happy. Yeah, that's what we're all trying to do. And I think that's also why people do things like alternative health things like yoga, meditation. These are all different tools to focus energy inward rather than outward. And it's freaking hard. Like it's not. And so we had, this is where I catch you. So we had an episode which we canceled again. Yeah, because it's cancel culture. I canceled it.
Yeah. But we canceled an episode because I began talking about a world which you did not want to discuss. But then again, after talking about all of this and seeing how conflicts are caused through projection. Let me finish my point. I see you dying.
I know. Oh.
Yeah. I see, because now you look at how most of the world and all of the conflict is caused by people's power struggles and inner struggles of insecurity and thinking that they're being gossiped about. Everybody is projecting this, projecting that. Or you need to project this image of being strong so that you appear strong, so that other people fear you.
Yeah, it's always doing things based on this outside eye.
Based on how is everybody looking at me.
Right.
So you see, a lot of trouble comes out of that. People become bullies because they want to show others that they're strong and that they're trying to hide away from something else. So they're trying to swell and put on this persona, yet actually inside of them is this little B word. You get me?
Yeah.
So in recognizing that all of that conflict is caused by people's projections and the need to have a balanced mental health, why again did you not feel the need to talk about things like, again, you bring up yoga and things that help people focus inward? Why is it a struggle to think that the solution should be an outward thing instead of looking at
to talk about?
It's a very simple solution. It's the same thing Jesus was talking about. It's the same thing Buddha is talking about. African spirituality is all about focusing on the simple things.
I'll be honest. I just didn't like the way you were approaching the conversation.
Okay.
And it turned me off, and I didn't vibe with how you were talking about it. So I'm down to talk about yoga, meditation. These are all things we experiment with because we're trying. There's no
need to talk about it. I just wanted to prove a point of why that's important.
You just wanted to prove a point.
No, yeah. There's no need to go back to it.
But you know what? You didn't prove it. So let's just...
No, I've just proved it now because we've had a very long conversation. Do you know what? Because here inadvertently, we've just had a conversation about mental health. Do you know that? That's a mental health thing.
Well, whenever you're talking about yoga, meditation, alternative medicine, it has to come back to mental health.
It's not. It has to come back to that. It does to come back to that. But usually most people when they're having conversations about mental health, all this projecting need to have the approval of everybody in order to feel accepted. It all comes from emotions that you can't see because there's an inner child in there. There's turmoil in here that manifests as chaos.
There's an inner child
chaos.
that's very bad at yoga.
No, again, there's an inner child who's really manifesting the worst in the physical realm because spiritually they are ailing. You get me?
Yeah.
So things like yoga, things like meditation make you focus on the inward. And once you have peace on the inward, it's going to come out. It's going to project well on the outside. So I felt like when you're telling me not to talk about that you are looking again, what the mistake that most people make is they always look at the simple solutions. They look at the complicated problem and ignore the very simple solution. Yet most of the times, the very complicated problems have very, very simple solution. Like looking inwards and meditating 5 minutes a day.
Well, you can call that simple, but we all know when you try, like when
It's
I try to
simple.
like put meditation in daily in my life, it just doesn't happen. Like I can't.
No, but here's the thing: you have to work towards. I just said 5 minutes. Do a minute, because in America the problem of mental health is usually tackled with swallow as many pills.
And
Have more drugs to help you.
Pills can be
cope with
valid
this
for
problem.
different people.
Yes, they can be valid for so many people. But then again, the conversation where it often leads to, and in hip hop we find that this works out more often better than even doing more drugs that again make you addicted to another drug. We find that in discovering ancient wisdom and trying out the simple things that the ancients did, you find peace even in this world right now. From like hip hop spirituality, you get that whatever is happening in here, they can give you all the medication they want. So you can choose to either be on medication all the time or train yourself to become on the inside.
Well, that's the same thing they say. So there's Western medicine.
So the simple solution is try to breathe and sit alone with your thoughts.
Practice what you preach, Jay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
It's not simple.
Listen. Let me finish my point. Sit, breathe. For 5 minutes, listen to your thoughts, right? The complicated solution is the scientists are going to do research for years and come out with a wonder drug to help you balance this world.
Well, I'm saying it's the same difference as Western versus Eastern medicine, where you're either treating the symptom or you're treating the cause.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's saying just meditate a minute a day. Like, developing these practices is really difficult.
It is difficult. I didn't say it was
act
easy.
like even you have mastered
I didn't
them.
say it was easy.
Okay. But you're saying the simple solution.
I didn't say it
For
was
a lot
easy.
of people, it feels more simple to take a pill, to take a drink, to smoke a joint.
But if you're looking at a whole society, that's a personal thing. But if you're looking at the whole society and how it approaches it, because if you are taught meditation from childhood,
well, that's okay.
Let me finish my point.
I agree.
If you're taught meditation from like a young age and that it's important,
I wish they
Miriam,
did.
let me finish my point. If you are taught to meditate from the time that you are young,
yes,
and that having a quiet time and having a guided meditation is important, is equally as important as playing and learning all this mathematics and all this other stuff. If you're taught from a very early age that this is the approach that's going to lead to a more harmonious society would have
I completely
would be in a better
agree.
place.
I completely
But then
100%
we live in
agree.
societies where they believe in take the quick pill. So it's not just a personal thing. It's harder on the person because it's not taught to you. But to people in Eastern culture who have it as part of the tradition, it's not that hard.
Okay.
So we
yes,
can always train ourselves.
No, I completely
to
agree,
make it
and I
easy.
think you hear about different
It's
schools.
hard, but it can be
You
easy,
hear about
yeah.
different schools where kids do breathing exercises.
Yeah.
They do yoga. They do like mini meditations, and I think those are like
They're just beginning to introduce it now in schools.
In the U.S.
In the
or
US.
in the West.
In the West,
Yeah,
yes.
but I think it probably existed more in Eastern culture before, like people got so competitive and capitalistic. Like, because I don't know. Like, if you go to any school in any small town in China, the reason it's being introduced the reason is because why it's being introduced in the U.S. and most Western schools now is because they are realizing that There's a lot of
The
anxiety.
world
and
is
depression.
becoming more anxious and more depressed. The rates of suicides are up. The rate of drug addiction is up. So they look at the quick solution, which is give the kids pills. So they give the kids pills, and then the pills make them addicted to even bigger pills or bigger drugs. So it becomes a problem on top of a problem on top of a problem. So they're like, okay, now let's experiment with this idea by introducing it in schools slowly by slowly.
Yeah, but I think it's random school. It's like random schools that have leadership.
I would take my child to that school.
I would too, but it's just that school happens to have leadership or a teacher that wants to try it. It's not in any way systemic now. That would be great if it were.
It's not systemic.
I wish I had been taught meditation.
Because people are still profiting off medicine.
That's true.
Yeah,
you're right.
People are still profiting off the medicine.
I feel like this is
because if I tell you, it's hard to practice. But if I tell you, learn how to breathe deeply, right? And let's go to the store, pay money, and then buy a pill. Most people breathing, like what?
You know what?
How is breathing going to solve this problem?
And this is the same issue as the government goes back and forth with providing healthy lunches for kids or putting gardens in schools so kids can learn about eating healthy. Because again, it's the challenge of the what's the pharmaceutical company. It's if we don't want people healthy because then the pharmaceuticals don't make the money with obesity and what's the blood sugar?
It's an insidious system, by the way. It's an insidious system because it does not put the human and the well-being of the human in front of the profits. Usually the profits come first, and then they look at the well-being.
Yeah, no,
of the
like
society.
I would love to have, as a kid, eaten healthy food and developed a taste for it, like constantly, like in school, everywhere. And I would have loved to have daily meditation.
You have a pretty healthy taste for organic food.
Yeah, but if anyone would benefit.
American.
Yeah, anyone would benefit to be even more like know how to grow things or like really. I wish I loved salad. I don't like that. That's like.
I love salad.
Well, I don't, but I think if I grew up even as a kid, like that's what you had to eat for lunch. You didn't have a choice because it was like.
But then the beauty is that you don't love it, but the beauty of it right now is that you find that that's the movement now.
Yeah,
the people
so that's
who are
great.
saying, if the food is killing us, let's begin growing our own food. Again, the solution becomes as simple as begin growing food on your rooftop.
I feel like there's two movements going on. There's the movement of urban farms and vertical farming and school farms and all this great stuff. And then there's also this movement, like we see it in Uganda and I'm sure in so many countries where the governments are buying out small farmers. So that's still like, you know what I mean? You have the good thing going on and then you have the bad thing. So what's going to happen? Where are we going to end up? I don't know.
We don't know because it looks like what the US is struggling with and what most European countries are struggling with, Africa is not observing and saying we shouldn't allow that here.
No, it's literally doing it's like everything
we see
messed
KFC
up
we there. We should have KFC too.
We want massive massive farms and mass produced poultry has like antibiotics and all kinds of injections in it. Like that's going to say
problem.
So it's just coming.
I was telling you the first time we went back to Uganda, I was so disappointed in the taste of the bananas.
Right.
And I had this very childhood thing, like I'd been away from my homeland for like five years. Mm-hmm. So the first time I come back, I'm like, I'm going to get my delicious fruits. I'm going to get some pineapples. I'm going to get some sugar cane. I'm going to get some fene. I'm going to get like everything that had been missing and fantasizing about.
Yeah.
Moment I bit through like bogoya, I was like, what the hell
mealy and
is
tasteless.
This? It tasted even worse than American bananas.
Similar.
So I began investigating where the problem was coming from, and it was because the species of the bananas that we had are slowly dying off because people are now getting the ones which have have been modified and grow faster.
Yeah.
So they're killing off the
They grow
ones
faster, and they, I think, don't have as many issues, many diseases or something, like whatever.
And they're profitable because you can always
therefore they're more profitable.
So you find that the tastier banana is being sacrificed, and because a banana grows with propagation, I think it's the way the seed is planted. It's a sucker or it grows off the mother, and then you get the younger banana. Does it make sense?
No,
it goes off.
I haven't done enough banana farming to follow.
I come from a Uganda family, so planting is our thing. So
you're saying there's a main stock, and then there's
so there's no seed. You only have to get the seedling.
What's
the younger
the seedling? A branch, a smaller branch. You just stick
no.
it in.
It's like it goes through a bud. It's like how you say potato when it's like maturing. It goes through another bud.
That a bud grows out of the banana.
Yes, out of the banana. So it's the same thing. The mature one, which has given you the bananas, after a while cannot produce. So the younger ones give you the bananas. So you take the younger one, plant it somewhere different, gives you the banana. So it still has the DNA of the mother. So it's the same banana of the OG. So
of the OGB?
Yeah, OGB, OG bananas on some gangster.
Original gangster bananas.
Yes, gangster bananas from Buyukwe. So what I'm talking about is, after a while, the ones which are planted in other holes have the DNA of the mother, so they become the same banana. But what's happening is that they have modified the banana to the extent that they are Xing out
the
mother bananas. And few people are growing the mother bananas, so the mother bananas are dying out.
Yeah, they're going to go extinct.
So the taste goes with it.
Yeah.
And now imagine the sad existence where the mangoes, the bananas, everything just becomes tasteless. And you can grow it faster, but it's tasteless.
Imagine the whole world when you eat, it's like uniform. Like every avocado tastes the same, every mango, and they're just like kind of this bland.
Yeah, which is America. Every avocado tastes the same. Every sausage tastes the same. Every chicken tastes the same. In Uganda, northern chicken tastes different from central chicken. Yeah. The avocado in the central tastes different from the avocado in the west. So all of that variety just dies out.
Yeah. Yep.
Again, simple solutions.
Truth. And I'm like, how can we tie that back to? I mean, we're just talking about the matrix and feelings and projections, and that it comes back to mental health.
And how we tie it in is how you can go so for so long in the wrong direction, thinking that's the truth or that's the solution. Whereas just looking at simple solutions and observing and seeing it from the inside already has the beauty and blessings with it. And with that is the Ugandan society looking at America and American farms and not seeing the cost at which it comes with to the society, health-wise. So you can have this as many birds you can grow and make profits as a farmer, but then again you're killing the kids and giving them more cancers.
So I'm saying
so instead of looking in and looking at the blessing you have with your chicken and sweetness
and organic food everywhere,
you're looking for that.
And I'm thinking like we're talking about physical health, which if you start having health issues, it affects your mental health, and your mental health is based on so many different layers of the more you struggle with your mental health, the more you're struggling in this matrix of projections.
Yes. Mental health is a matrix of dangerous projections.
Yeah. So I know I struggle with like things I'm always working on.
Quote that somewhere. What was it? I don't even know what I said. Mental health is
okay, we'll find it.
Yeah, we'll see. But okay, so
I'm always working on eating better, getting more in touch with myself, trying all different types of activities, everything is to like get rid of again the noise.
Get rid of the noise. Actually, that's a very beautiful.
Bring the more music, less noise.
More music, bringing the noise.
More music, less noise.
More music, less noise.
Is that like our life philosophy? Well, that's music to someone's ears.
Okay.
I
get it.
So
more music, less noise. I love how we've come full circle.
Yes, that was important. I always I can't like. I know you're like, oh, podcast, you can just talk about whatever, but I'm like, no. it's like
That's
we have
not
a
what I
train.
said.
We
We have people listening.
we
Not
have
you talk
a-
about forever. You talk about interesting conversations.
But I was saying, no, you said whatever, not forever. What did you say? I don't know. The point is, our minds make connections. So
Yes.
we're trying to have like a flow of consciousness situation.
Yes.
But if you're doing flow of consciousness, it always comes back to like there was a root.
Yeah.
Anyways, we've now reached the future. I think we're in the future. So I'm Miriam Tamar.
And I'm GNL Zamba. We're not yet ready to go. She's trying to cut off the
I am.
conversation. So in the point that you've made, either you're spinning that spiral and going down with it as you're projecting with your thoughts,
Yeah.
and you end up in the downward spiral, which is dangerous. Depression, you're anxious and all these other things. Or you're spinning that spiral outward where you're the center and you're projecting good thoughts, good energy, and you're trying to get to, you already have the truth within you, and now you're giving people more.
That's nice.
More love and understanding.
Yeah,
So
that's really
usually,
nice.
so if there's anything to take away from here, conversations are really important. Focus on your happiness, your inner happiness. And in the words of J. Cole, the words of Buddha, the words of Rakim, hip-hop spirituality and all, the Wu-Tang people are meditating. So something that helps me with my anxiety most of the times is learning to breathe and knowing that it's a journey to get to quieting the mind. So I'll leave the same information with you. If you're struggling with mental health, depression, and all these other things, don't let that little voice, don't listen to that little voice inside of you.
Unless you want to.
And
Don't listen to a negative little
don't
voice.
listen to a negative little
A
voice inside of
destructive
you.
little
Yeah,
voice.
you should listen to only positive affirmations. And you're special, you're beautiful, and you're going to find your answers in
And
simplicity.
you should breathe in through the
And
nose.
That is breathing in through the nose and
out through the
exhaling
mouth.
and
So
listening to
let's do
yourself
it
breathe.
once.
Meditate.
Okay. In through the nose.
It's your boy GNL Zamba,
Miriam Tamar.
and together we are
Nsimbi.
Nsimbi. Peace.
Bye.